we have our I Chose Christ feature. This is our testimony
Mm-hmm.
segment, and it will be brought to us by Bria Kerr Thompson, a recent graduate of UWI Mona. Definitely looking forward to that. And then onto our discussion segment, which we're, of course, still in our student representation series. And this is part two. So we're dealing with the college students, the university students, how you
Mm-hmm.
can get involved and make a difference. And we'll be talking with the UWI Guild president and the UTech Students Union president. So it's certainly a lot in this show that we have to cover, and it's going to be really good.
Absolutely. And we wanted to stick and stay with us, of course, while we, go through the show and have a good time. It's the second to last, or, some would say the penultimate show.
My.
So, yeah.
We
Boy,
never know
rough.
you knew those kinds of words,
Hey,
Jonathan.
guys, I want you to see that I am not the one. I am not the instigator. I am not the aggressor, right? I just want to make that clear. I'm not going to say anything else. Anyway, moving right along.
Moving right along.
But yeah, we have education news and bulletin coming to you right now. So please go ahead and listen while Ashara Barnett, student at UTech, gives us an update.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Holiday season, JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited wants you to spruce up your celebrations with our Christmas combo loan at up to $200,000 at fixed interest rate, no credit check, and up to 24 months to repay. It's never been a better time to join. Membership is easy and you may be eligible. Conditions apply. Call us or visit www.jpscu.com to learn more and get started today. JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited, your financial partner for life.
Truth is, HIV affects everyone. Truth is, avoiding care leads to a weaker immune system. That means you could get really sick. The truth is, the hardest pill to swallow isn't the medication. It's the problems that follow when you don't take them. Let's get through this together. Remain in care. You can live life to the fullest with HIV. And that's the truth. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
GK1 now introduces third-party motor insurance from GK General Insurance. Download and log into the GK1 app. Then select one of three affordable third-party options, 25, 35, or 40,000 annually. But there's more. For a limited time, when you purchase a third-party insurance on the GK1 app, you get $1,000 in your GK1 wallet. Yes, money back just like that. One app, three motor insurance options from GK General Insurance. Download and insure your car on the GK1 app today.
Jamaica! Bird's Auto Parts is now your home for genuine and non-genuine Kia parts. From body to suspension, engine, and service parts. We've got what your Kia needs to keep you moving smoothly. Visit us today and power your Kia. And remember, it hurts if you don't check Bird's.
Here's why you can't afford to miss the Morning Watch.
I love listening to the Morning Watch because topics are discussed and issues are highlighted that are of major importance, which in turn edify me.
The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
I like listening to the Morning Watch. I find it very informative. I find it very interesting. The topics that are covered are very, very wide.
The Morning Watch, thought-provoking, insightful, current. Listen for the probing questions with attorney at law Stokely Marshall and the in-depth discussion with Reverend Dr. Dylan Toussaint. The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The Morning Watch is on the family station Love 101.
Okay, where are the campus lights? Students, step up in a pride.
All right. Welcome back to Campus Connection. We sincerely apologize for a little technical difficulty that we had earlier on, but I believe we are ready now for Education News and Bulletin, read by Ashara Barnett, student at the University of Technology, Jamaica.
Education News and Bulletin for Tuesday, December 10, 2024. Shanoya Morgan of St. Andrew High School for Girls and Noella Brown of Montego Bay Community College were among the top performing students from across the region who were celebrated Thursday, December 5, 2024 at the Caribbean Examination Council's CXC 2024 Top Award Ceremony in St. Lucia. The prestigious annual event recognizes the exceptional achievements of students in the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, and Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, CCSLC examinations. Morgan was awarded in the CSEC category for Most Outstanding Candidate in History, while Brown earned the Most Outstanding Candidate in Humanities title in the CAPE category. There were 14 other regional awardees from Grenada, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago. The Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth, and Information extended congratulations to Morgan and Brown, along with the other top-performing students from across the region. Minister of Education, Skills, Youth, and Information, Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, commended all the awardees, highlighting their dedication and academic excellence. Quote, "The achievements of these outstanding students exemplify the resilience, hard work, and brilliance of our Caribbean youth. As Jamaicans, we are especially proud of Shanoya Morgan and Noella Brown, whose exceptional performances are a testament to our nation's commitment to nurturing world-class talent. We applaud their success and the role of educators and families in supporting their journey. This celebration reminds us of the power of education to transform lives and build bridges across the Caribbean region." End quote. The Top Awards ceremony is a highlight of a week of activities sponsored by CXC and hosted by the Ministry of Education in St. Lucia. These events promote cultural exchange, regional cooperation, and the building of lifelong friendships among the Caribbean's brightest minds. In our bulletin, the Interschool Christian Fellowship ISCF CAMS present LEAD 2024 conference from December 27 to 31, 2024, under the theme Uprise, Unstoppable God, Undefeated Leaders. The conference will be held at Moorland Camp in Manchester, and the fee is $17,500. There will be leadership training for high school leaders, including ISCF leaders, student council reps, and prefects, clubs, and societies leaders, as well as local church youth ministry leaders. To register, visit cams.iscfja.com/lead/. You can sponsor a student to attend at the ISCF CAMS NCB Mandeville branch, account number 502-653-768. Please spend some time in prayer for this conference and Student Christian Fellowship and Scripture Union, SCFSU parent body for ISCF and UCCF clubs in our nation's institutions. That was all the news and bulletin we have for you today on Campus Connection. I am Ashara Barnett.
Thank you so much, Ashara, for our education news and bulletin. She is a UTech student, and we're certainly grateful to have her on the Campus Connection team. We have a question for you, and there are some of you that just joined us. We're now live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. And we have a question for you. We want you to let us know what can be done to encourage more young people to get involved in student representation. So jump in the comments, give us your feedback, let us know what you think schools can do, the Ministry of Education can do, the students can do, the parents can do, what really can be done to encourage student representation. Is it even something that should be encouraged? We want to hear your thoughts. We certainly want to hear your thoughts. You can also WhatsApp us at 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. And Jonathan, this is the moment we've been waiting for.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. We have a star in our midst.
Mhm.
Boy, so many things to say about this person. President, Sixth Form Association, President, JPS Power Up Energy Club, Secretary and Game Master, the Environmental Club, Vice President / Secretary of the Mathematics Club, Events Coordinator of the Heritage Club, Assistant Sergeant,
Science and Technology Club.
Student Councilor 4 years, grade 10 to 13, Prefect 2 years, grade 12 to 13. Wow, so many things we can say about Michaela Bennett.
Debate competition winner.
So many things. Michaela, good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome.
So, Michaela, tell us a little bit, first of all, about, we know a lot about what you've accomplished, but tell us a little bit about why. What drives you? Why are you so involved?
Well, I would say it started with my brother, Malik Bennett. He was the head coach for Jonathan Grant. We just always have this long-standing.
All right, seems as if Michaela is having a bit of technical difficulty. Michaela, are you hearing us?
It doesn't look like.
All right. It's looking like Michaela is having
about to get into the story, man. Come on.
We're gonna try to see if we can work through the issue concerning Michaela, but boy, such an extensive resume. Can we call it a resume?
It is a resume.
Yeah.
Student is a real occupation, you know.
That is very true. She is not even in the workforce as yet, and she's already doing so many things. So I can just imagine what she'll be able to achieve when she actually gets into the world of work. So really looking forward to what Michaela will be able to achieve in the near future. Okay, it seems as if we have some technical issues concerning the connection, so we're going to move on in the show, but we definitely want to hear from Michaela at some point in time. Whether it's, I don't know how it's going to work, but yeah, I'm sure the team will figure it out. All right, so we do have our I Chose Christ feature, and this one is from Bria Kerr Thompson, recent graduate from UA Mona. Listen and be blessed.
My name is Bria Kerr Thompson, a graduate of the University of the West Indies with a bachelor's in arts in history and a minor in anthropology. I grew up in a Christian home with Christian parents. I went to a Christian school, and church was a definite most, if not every Sunday. When I was in prep school, and early high school, being a Christian was very simple, very easy as breathing, walking, eating. There was Bible class every morning in prep school. We would get a Bible verse every few weeks. Many I still remember to this day. Even if I opened the pages of my workbooks, there are Bible verses at the top reminding me about purpose and encouraging me to pursue discipline and diligence. My entire life was immersed in my faith. But as I transitioned into the teenage years, it began to decenter and everything started to disconnect. When I entered high school, an all-girls school, it was a homeroom with 45 girls and totally different personalities. Some came as far as Westmoreland, St. James to attend this educational mecca. And eventually, as is custom in many schools, almost every school, everyone fell into cliques. Many girls stuck with their old schoolmates, and the rest of us quickly made friends with the girls sitting next to us out of fear of isolation. Being in the latter group, I had a diverse group. Me and another Christian, an atheist, two agnostics, an asexual. Instead of having the close-knit supportive friendships that I enjoyed in prep school, we operated more like a debate society, and that really fostered me adopting principles from the other girls' point of view and their faiths and their basis of faith. And everything I knew started to crash down. When I was in college, I reconnected with an old teacher, and this really served as my reintroduction to Christ. When that teacher left, I was very upset, but God reminded me that He's always working because that teacher reappeared at the right time. He encouraged me every day, answered my questions, helped me to remember the power of prayer. He prophesied and ministered to me, telling me things that to this day are very true, that God is going to use me to minister to children and to women. I began to read my Bible again and pray every day. And now looking, undoubtedly, the devil was working to stop me from being connected. But, I decided to forge ahead in my faith, and though things are not easy, I was once again fully connected in church, at home, in school, and in my personal life. When you're fully connected, your life changes. You're not perfect, but you are marked. And all the things I used to envy my parents for doing or believing, I don't even care for anymore. Being half transformed is far more exhausting than being fully transformed. There will be persecution, and sometimes you'll feel like a misfit. Trust me, I know because I've encountered it. But knowing that God's love is unfailing makes life worth living, and knowing that the Bible answers all your questions makes a Christian walk just as sweet, though not easy. So, I choose Christ every day, in every way, and so should you.
Where are the campus lights? Students.
Absolutely powerful. What an amazing testimony of God's goodness and His grace. Special thanks to Brea Kerr Thompson for sharing her journey with the Lord and why she chose Christ. And of course, why you should too. Coming up next in the show, we'll be discussing student representation. It's the part 2 of the series, and we have special guest Mr. Rick Darby, president of the UTEC Jamaica Students Union, and Mr. Perry Cummins Jr., guild president of the UWI Mona. The truth is, student representatives are able to make proposals with students' interests, advise on other students with issues they are having, and develop valuable leadership skills while making a positive impact on the student community. And as I shared last week, Anesta and I will have a little bit of, a little understanding, if you will.
Oh my Lord. Wait, before we go to the student representatives, I believe we have Michaela back on the phone with us. I would definitely want to squeeze in a quick chat with her before, we have to jump to our discussion. So, Michaela, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, Michaela, you were answering the question of why you're so passionate about extracurricular activities, and we got cut off. So, can you continue on that for a bit?
Yes. So I think it started with the competition that me and my brother have going on. He used to be the head boy for Jonathan Grant. Oh, we used to always compete, who would get the most trophies at prize giving, who would have the most positions. And I also think that my teachers, which was my first foreign teacher in grade 7, Mrs. Smith, she kind of molded and shaped me into a person that was always trying to help persons and is a leader and somewhat of a guide to my fellow students. So
Hmm.
I feel like that is where my inspiration really came from to be a student leader.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Powerful, absolutely powerful. And healthy competition can be very, very good. Because look at what it has enabled you to accomplish. But what are two of the benefits that you have seen as relates to extracurricular activities? Why is it important in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, I feel like extracurriculars allows you the opportunity to, branch off because in school, it's mainly, academics and what you can do on paper, whereas extracurricular activities allows you to explore your other talents, How are you able to speak, whether you can debate, whether you're talented with creating things or writing. I feel like it's a platform, well, it allows a platform for you to show your other talents that is not just academic based but
Mm-hmm.
more based on what you can do or what you can add to a given space.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about your time management strategy because you're involved in so much. How do you do it all?
So for my school, which is St. Catherine High, we get the calendar for the entire school year. So I tend to plan everything around it. So if I know that I have exams, say from the 19th to the 22nd of November, all my club events or club duties, I plan it accordingly. So I know that from the 19th to the 22nd, I need to focus on studying and practicing for my upcoming exams. For events that I have, which when I had the SRC debate for science club, I decided that I would set an alarm for a set time that I would go to bed. I try to do everything that given time frame. And of course, my mother and my sister try to alleviate me of many of my duties, try to alleviate me of my chores or my household duties by doing them for me on a given day so that I would have more time to do things that I need to do for clubs and for school.
What a lovely mommy. Big up, mommy.
I'm telling you now. And you really can't do it without the support of your family. Our
Absolutely.
producer says she attends clubs for 4 days per week.
Wow.
So it's another
Wow.
full-time job along with being a student.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Boy,
Wow.
Michaela, we're very proud of you and what you have been able to accomplish thus far, and we're looking forward to what you'll be able to accomplish in the very near future. Do you have anybody that you want to big up? Anybody that you want to, send a special shout out to?
Yes, I would. I'd like to thank my mother, of course, my sisters, my teachers, Mrs. Gotcha Dona, Mrs. Stevenson, Mrs. Daly Richard, Mrs. Byfield Small, and every teacher that I've ever interacted with or taught me. My friends such as Dijane, Brianna, Rabina, Ashley, Rihanna, Gingerville, and so many other persons that inspire me every day.
Mm. All right. Well, we certainly wish you all the best, Michaela, and we're very proud of you, and we want you to keep going. Don't stop, no matter what.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A superstar. I was going to say in the making, but she's a superstar already. Miss
Already.
Michaela Bennett. Wow. I'm lost for words with the amount of things that she has going on. But I'm really excited for her and what she will continue to do in this life. All right, so we have very, very special presidential, interview right now.
Yeah.
From both sides of the fence, if
Oh
you
my.
will. So we have Rick Darby, president of the UTEC Jamaica Students Union, and down the road, literally, Mr. Perry
Gil
Cummings Jr., Guild President of the UA Mona. We are going to have this special discussion with them, but we have to take a quick break. So we'll be back after these messages.
This holiday season, JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited wants you to spruce up.
Saving can seem like a dream for many at the best of times. But here are a few ways you can kick off your saving journey. 1. Open a savings account at a regulated financial institution. 2. Develop a budget. 3. Track your spending.
This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the Ministry of Counseling and Prayer of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today, 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. It's the telephone counseling and prayer ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. A reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
When I to the end of myself,
It's the most wonderful time of the year. And you're invited to the Season Splendor Christmas Small Business Expo.
Live on Saturday, December 21 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Head on over to Campion College for a one-of-a-kind Christmas shopping experience.
Cover amazing local businesses, unique gifts, delicious treats, and so much more. Perfect for everyone on your list.
It's a holiday shopping spree like no other. And the best part, activities is free. Yeah, you heard right. Free.
So get your family, with your friends, and shopping from local.
All right, welcome back to Campus Connection. It has been a fun, interesting episode so far. And we are on our second episode in the series on student representation. And we have with us the Students Union President of UTEC Jamaica, Mr. Rick Darby. And we also have the Guild President of UEMONA, and that's Mr. Perry Cummings Jr. And they're here to discuss student representation from the college/university perspective. So last week we dealt with the high school students and they shared their take on it. So this week we kind of step up the ladder a little bit because we're going to get more intense. You know what I mean? We're going to get more intense. So I see Perry coming in them guild shirt, looking all presidential. Do you have on a guild shirt, Rick?
I
Cause
do, I do.
you do?
Union.
Okay.
Come
Okay.
on,
I'm
man.
sorry, union shirt. So okay, gentlemen, you're both presidents, and I believe the first and most fitting question to ask is, what is the most challenging thing about being the head, the president of your students' union or your guild? And let me start with Rick, and then we'll go to you, Perry.
I think the most challenging thing is having that final call to make that final decision, because for the most part, persons don't understand, because while they may see things from one perspective, you're the person who is getting all the information from the admin side, as well as getting all the information from the student side. So looking at where you can make a decision that both it meets some form of compromise where the students' needs aren't affected, and we're able to operate fully going forward, because we have to always ensure that the students' needs are prioritized. At some point, sometimes our requests, they aren't based on how the nature of how they're set up. We have to make some adjustments because it's not really practical. So when we make a compromise, they're going to say, hey, but this is not what I asked for. But in terms of practicality and how it actually works, so we have to make certain compromises here and there.
Wow. So what about you, Perry?
All right, so good evening. Thanks for having me, Mr. Fletcher, Mr. Samuels, and greetings, Mr. Darby. All right, most difficult things being president, for one, it's really and truly, apart from what Rick says, it's really and truly for me rallying students. A lot of the times, students tend to just see the president as this distant person who is batting for them behind the scenes. And sometimes you don't want that support from them. But a lot of students, they have the mindset of just coming, getting their degree and leaving. And sometimes you want that support on the ground to actually, back you up at times. Because even as leaders, we want support. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes that is absent from the constituents at times.
Wow, a solid way to start this conversation. And even as I am sitting here, I would have to ask this question based on what both of you have said just now. What are the expectations of student leaders, of student representatives? I know the list is long. We'll try to condense it as much as possible. But what would you say? What's the expectation from admin side, and what's the expectation from the student side? Perry, staying with you.
You're supposed to be perfect. But you shouldn't make mistakes. You said you should be at every meeting on time. You should be this perfect person, getting all A's at the same time with juggling all of these responsibilities. And students, you should do nothing wrong. You should always meet my need. You should always, it's just the expectation high. And recently somebody said to me, Perry, take it easy. Remember, say you're a human being too. Student first. So that's the expectation from admin.
Rick, how do you go about then managing those expectations? Or well, can you even manage the expectations?
To be realistic, sometimes the expectations they're unfeasible, because for one, from admin side, they're always expecting that we should get students to understand the perspective that they're sharing. While we have more information, we have more insider information, so we can understand the struggles and whatnot. But at the end of the day, we're here to advocate for students. So while we understand where admin is coming from, we also have to ensure that they know that the students' needs are first. So admin is always expecting us to have students understand. And the average student is not going to be understanding. At times, first, I'm going to be always the first one to object, because I'm going to say, hey, that is foolishness. That makes no sense. If it's the best interest of the students, then it makes no sense. In terms of the students now, one of the expectations is that you're going to be always accessible 24/7, and that you're going to be, as soon as they ask for something, they're going to get it instantly. And realistically, it doesn't work like that. As Perry would have mentioned, we had go to a lot of meetings. Yesterday, I was in a meeting for 6 hours straight, and constantly just coming in, people and leaving and coming back, leaving and coming back. So it's all around. So it's a lot. And sometimes, to be honest, you won't meet everybody's expectation, but then it comes down to delegating some of the responsibilities to the team so different team members take on certain tasks so you don't get overwhelmed and burnt out.
Rick, answer me this. How long have you been president of the UTech Students Union?
This is my second term as president.
Okay, so typically most presidents get a 1-year tenure, right? Do you think it's feasible for you to have all of these expectations placed on you and having just a year to fulfill them? Like, how do you manage that expectation?
That one, that's challenging because last year, my first year as president, I tried to meet every single expectation, and I realized by about November I was totally burnt out. I was running on fumes, just trying to say, all right, let's just finish the semester and then we'll take a break in December and come back stronger for semester 2. So I realized that I had to delegate a lot more, and I had to look at things from a realistic perspective, because while we're coming with these long manifestos, we aren't able to most times meet 100% of the manifestos, because you're coming with manifestos. Then when you're dealing with persons, you're doing policy, you realize that policy takes a long time. Policies take up to a year. I started a policy from I was first VP, and it wasn't until I became president in this, it was 1 year, completely year before that policy was approved. And then in my second year as president, we started policies from my tenure in last year, and those policies are just coming to fruition for this year. So it's a lot, and it's really important that you're able to manage and to look at things from a realistic perspective. While you're coming with some money, you're saying the aim is always to get 100%, but realistically, you're only able to complete like 75%, and then the students' needs change at times, because while we're campaigning and we're interacting with students and we're getting their needs, as the semester evolves, different needs arise, different things happen. For example, this year, we started out, we had different plans, but then the university raised the tuition, so we had to shift focus and place all that emphasis right there. So things, but we're still able to balance and continue going. So it's important to understand where the students are and to keep up with the needs, so you're able to meet expectations.
So okay, let me throw this one to Perry. Perry, is there, I'm not sure how the UE Guild works, but is there something in place to ensure that there's a continuation of whatever policies are started, so that, you know, each time a new president comes in, all those plans just don't get thrown on the back burner and then we move forward with that different manifesto? Is there anything that allows for continuity?
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that it's dependent on you as a leader. You as a president, for example, I am not going to be running again. I can't say that publicly. So I know I only have a year left. I have other plans. I have other things to do. So what whomever will be my successor, I will share the vision. The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. When you do that, you know, the person coming after you should be able to understand it, buy into it, and see it throughout to its end. You know, that's what you would call a legacy project. So you can do either. However, the no is that it's not an official thing where the guild say, okay, you have to do this, because the thing is, different presidents will have different visions.
Right.
I didn't want to build a 50-foot structure in the air, but the president coming after say, well, Perry, you're a madman, I'll not do that. So we cannot make it a thing where you have to do what your predecessor did or start. But if the vision is relevant, if it is something that can be done, it is always good as a leader to share the vision. You know, let the person see the pros in it, right? And go through with it. So that's what I would say.
Wow. Perry, staying with you. A while ago you shared a scripture verse and we see your name on the screen, Perry, in Christ, right? And we know you to be a gospel recording artist. I've been a part of the union, so I have a bit of understanding concerning the different activities, the different elements, the moving parts concerning being a part of student representation. And one of the major parts of that would be, you know, the parties and the social events and all of that. How do you balance, for our campusites listening, because this is a Christian station, how do you balance being a Christian while still effectively carrying out your role as guild president?
Yeah, so the first thing we have to understand the role of the president. So the role of the president primarily is to ensure the efficient running of the guild, to ensure that the council is together and that persons are able to execute their roles well. You know, it's some persons say it's a hard job. I wouldn't say the president is a hard job. You know, it's just a matter of management. And what I've always told my council, they know where I stand, they know what I stand for, and they say, Perry, don't worry, we'll go, you don't have to go. So the most I'll do sometimes is just probably show my face, say, hi everybody, I'm gone. I understand what I stand for. You understand what I'm saying? The campus knows what Perry in Christ stands for. Sometimes as Christian leaders, we shy away from these positions with the thought that, hey, persons are going to point finger at us. But if you look in the Word of God, you saw where Joseph was the prime minister in Egypt, and he was second in command to Pharaoh, and he did not compromise. When Pharaoh's wife came at him, he said, how can I do this wicked thing and sin against my God? It tells me that it doesn't matter how high you're elevated in leadership, whether at school, in the country, you don't have to compromise, and you can be elevated to a place to make meaningful change. So it's all a matter of knowing who you are, Fletcher. It's all a matter of knowing who called you, why you're in the role. And let me tell you something. Since being president is the most gospel music play at the party them. Because this man compared to play.
Yeah.
So God be the glory.
Big up Jesus. Big up Jesus.
All right. You're listening to Campus Connection, which is brought to you by Heart NSTA Trust, Skill is Power, and TGI Fridays at TGIF. Every day is Friday. We're going now to a quick break, and when we return, more Campus Connection. Stay with us.
Blow your mind, Jim. Get it? Blow your mind. And at 4:30 p.m., we share with you how young people are giving all their time and fulfilling their purpose inside Ministry in Action. We get a taste of poetry and spoken word inside Poetry and Praise. And you get to send us a WhatsApp message and request your favorite gospel song inside Gospel Praise and Vibe. All this and more every Saturday at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. with your love job, your boy, DJ Rebirth. It's all here on the family station, Love 101. You can enjoy Suboti and Epica, keep provide everything on life you we try. Suboti and Epica, keep on gonna be a but we did try. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And you're invited to the Season Spender Christmas Small Business Expo. Right on Saturday, December 21 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Head on over to Campion College for a one-of-a-kind Christmas shopping experience. Discover amazing local businesses, gifts, delicious
delicious treats, and so much more. Perfect for everyone on your list.
It's a holiday shopping spree like no other. And the best part, it's free. Yeah, you heard right. Free.
So grab your family, bring your friends, and come shop with love this Christmas. Don't miss out on the fun, the deals, and the holiday cheer.
We can't wait to see you at Season Splendor Expo, Saturday, December 21 at Campion College. Let's make this Christmas extra special.
Welcome back to Campus Connection. If you're just joining us, boy, you miss a lot. You have missed a whole lot. We're talking about student representation, and we have with us the UWI Guild president, Perry Cummings Jr., and we also have the UTEC Students Union president, Mr. Rick Darby. So, gentlemen, I mean, I can tell that you're hard workers. I can tell that you're passionate about what you do. But tell me a little bit about how you see student representation affecting students, the quality of life for students. Like, is it making a real impact? Let me start with you, Rick, and then Perry can answer.
Yeah, I definitely think it's making an impact, because without student representation, then students' voice wouldn't be heard at the management level when decisions are being made. So it does really provide some insight, because for the most part, when they implement policies and so forth, when they're using different softwares, without the end user, us being the students, communicating to them what we're seeing and the problems that we're having, then they won't really know. So there would be a stakeholder gap. So as student representatives, it does provide some level of insight, and it allows our voice to be heard. We are the main stakeholders of the university. The university is there to provide quality education for us so that we can go out and impact change in the country. So I do believe it's an important role, and that we play a quality part in terms of maintaining and enhancing our fellow student life.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Perry?
You know, as Rick rightfully says, yes, it's a resounding yes from me. However, I'll take it a step further. It's really dependent on the leader. You have a lot of student leaders who enter into these positions for fame, for popularity. They enter into it just to put something on their resume, and that's the truth of it. And I've seen leadership from students before that is all about, oh, I'm this, and become very entitled. But I've seen where at the table, administration allows us, the students' voice to be heard. That's the reason why we're entrenched. And Darby can tell you, our roles, it is entrenched within the statutes and the laws that governs the campuses. And there's a reason for that. We are the main stakeholders, and anything that the universities choose to do, it affects us whether directly or indirectly. That means our voice must be heard. We must have the perspective. Does this make sense? How does this affect us? And I've seen where it works, and I just think it's dependent on the character of the leader and how passionate a person is.
And Perry, you just said something about becoming entitled, and immediately I had a memory of, they would literally talk about the power of the blue shirt. I don't know if that's still a thing on the campus at UTEC. Where literally they would say that, council members, there's a certain, I don't even know the word to use concerning it, but there's something attached to the blue shirt, right? How do you maintain then the posh student where you don't get too power hungry? Because it's easy to get into that space, especially with the kind of information that you have readily available to you. So, Perry, how do you remain humble and with the posture of a student?
It's so interesting because this role is about serving, and forget that it's about serving, and it costs you a lot. It costs your sleep, costs your study. But you're there serving. You go into that role to serve. So student leaders must remember that how I remind myself that, listen, Perry, yes, you are privy to certain things. Yes, you can make change in policy. Yes, you meet with all the big shots, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't always like this for me. It was the same students who voted for me. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how I remember where I'm coming from. And that's what keeps me in check. Quickly, it brings me to the Bible story of Jonah. Jonah felt entitled. God gave him a message and he decided that a set of people should not get this warning. And look what God made a whale to swallow him up and it killed him after being in the belly of the beast for so many days. So these are the things that we have to deal with as leaders at times. Just remember who called us and remember who we are.
And on that note, I think I wanted to find out your take on our social media question for today. What can be done to really encourage more students to get involved in student representation? We know it's hard work, we know it's a sacrifice, but what can be done to encourage students, Rick?
I think one of the first things we have to look at is the different elements it has to offer, because it definitely provides development. Because going into leadership, we have a lot of leadership development to do. We go to a lot of training sessions before we're able to effect change. So it does, looking at those areas of benefits, as we're dealing with a newer generation, younger people, everybody say, if it not see how it benefit me because I'm going to lose sleep over it, people are going to hate me, all of this. So looking at the upside to it, because yes, it's a lot of work. Yes, it costs a lot. It costs a lot of friendships, it costs relationships, it costs your grades, etc. But looking at the upside, looking at the benefits that it has to offer. So in terms of the different opportunities that it gives, as well as the development of you as a person and as a leader, so you're able to move and take that step forward in terms of your professional development and your own personal development. So those are two areas that we can look at in terms of getting more persons to be involved in leadership.
Solid.
Perry, what's your take?
I agree definitely with Mr. Darby. The benefits is also a part of it. Definitely the development of your character as a leader. That is something that students should actually yearn for. You understand? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be frank. I'm gonna be real. The first time I traveled on a plane was because of being president. So there are benefits to it. It's something that students shouldn't shy away from. But what I is that don't just be on the outside wanting change. If you really want change, go where the change can happen. And that's what I told myself. I saw something that I wanted to change with this campus. For the life of me, Darby, this summer, I just couldn't understand why a student couldn't transfer money from their student account and send it to somebody else's account if they want to assist. And I went in the post, and that is now a reality. So want change, go where the change can happen.
Wow. Well, gentlemen, it has certainly been amazing talking with you. As former student representative, we feel your pain. We know what it's like. And we want you to know that we're cheering you on, your Campus Connection family. We're proud of you,
Absolutely.
We see that you're not just there for the title, but you actually want to help to effect that change. So we wish you all the best, and please don't consume yourself so much with student representation that you don't get good grades, because we need you to make sure you graduate on time, right? No more do-overs. So we wish you all the best, gentlemen. Thanks so much for making it Campus Connection.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, this has been a treat. I feel like this is a series that does need to continue, Jonathan, probably next year and into our other seasons. We want to see this. But certainly thank you to all of those who were a part of this episode, all of those who contributed in some way, to Dr. Nadine Blair, our programs manager, to Derval Graham and Katia Davis, our technical and studio support, to Jermaine Johnson, our producer, Shania Smith and David Sutton, our campus liaison, and Ruth Lawrence, our campus consultant. We thank you so much. And even a special thanks to Ashara Bennett, our student who did the education news and bulletin, to Miss Michaela Bennett of the St. Catherine High School, our superstar honor roll guest with the extensive resume. And thank you to Bria Kerr Thompson, who gave us the I Chose Christ feature. And of course, to Rick and Perry, our student representatives, who certainly did a good job of convincing us that we need to be a part of student representation. And that's it for our show this week. Campus Connection was brought to you by the Heart NSTA Trust, Skill is Power, and TGI Fridays at TGIF. Every single day is what? What is it?
Friday.
Good. So that means Tuesday is the new Friday. We will see you again next week for our final show. I'm Anesta and
I'm Jonathan.
All
Please
right.
take care. We'll see you next week.
Is he saying about? Do you know where the TGI is?